Hello, Kelly here with Kelly's Soroka Life, and we are on day 20. What is it? It's April 22nd. So we are on day 25. We're almost there. We're almost done. We're getting ready for that next new moon. But we're also really getting into spring. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, it's spring for you. And wherever you are, it's spring. And however you are experiencing spring, there's still this energy of growth, of rebirth, of going forward. And today I wanted to share with you three spring tarot decks or three tarot decks that I associate with spring of that growth of a time that you might want to use it for any kind of readings that you do for yourself or for other people in this time. And these are all three mass market decks that you can get very easily. And they are just, fun decks that I think embody that spring energy and the energy of the growth and being able to renew something and to put something in the earth and to grow it. And whatever that is, it might be physically you're putting things in the earth. It might be emotionally, you're growing emotional growth. It might be a relationship, a business, anything that you're growing. It might be your children. It might be grandchildren. It might be your parents, moving into a different phase of life, something that you're growing. It can encompass a wide range of things. But this is a great time to look at that and to look at the things that you want to grow as we kind of wrap up this Aries energy that is very fiery and very cardinal and very out there to start things. And now we're moving into that Taurus energy that's really putting down the roots and putting things into the earth in whatever way that might be to you. So these three decks, the first one is this is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, and they all come. I don't happen to have the guidebooks with them. Well, I do with one of them, but the other two, the first two that I'm going to show you, they have nice guidebooks that go along with them, and they're the I think the Llewellyn guidebooks that are big and in color. And so if you get them, then they have really good guidebooks that go along with them. And so if you're starting out in tarot, they're really good resources. If you've been reading for a long time and you want to add to your collection, add to something to read with for this time of year, then this is a great one. So again, this is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. This is the back, and I will show you some of the cards from it. This light is not very good, but I think it's very Rider Waite Smith inspired, but it goes in its own way. It has images. It's very green. It's very fairy like and foresty. It has a wide range of people and animals and images on it that I think that a lot of people can really connect to. I really like this deck, and it's just very simple in its own way. Like here's the Two of Swords. It's the card. This is my card of the year that I work with. So I always look for this card in any decks that I'm working with. But this card, it's still very Rider Waite Smith with the woman, the blindfold, and the swords, but it has this beautiful background to it. It's up against this beautiful rock wall with the growth all around it, and she's trying to decide what she wants to cut away, and so it's very. I think it's just a very, very beautiful deck, and it has its own take on a lot of the original imagery, and that's what that I really like about it. And that's beautiful. What is this Knight of Swords with the Pegasus? So it's just I think it's very spring. It's very growth oriented, but yet it's it's very easy to read, very easy to work with. And so I really like this deck. And again, this is, and here's the back, it is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. And I'll have links for these down in the bottom as well, so you can check them out if you want to. So this next one is the Bee Tarot. This is one of my favorites. I love bees, love honey. And I just think that bees are just such fascinating animals and just fascinating um, creatures and spirit that we can work with. And that bee energy is so fascinating. And I think that I have several bee decks, and this just came out. I think the Terror of the Witch's Garden has been out maybe a year or two or so. This, I think, came out not too long ago, so it's pretty new. And it's got, now if you don't like bees, then just skip this part of the video. But if you do like bees and you like this kind of bee energy, and it has a lot of the beekeeper energies in it. And here again, the Two of Swords, and you can see how how it has a very different take on the Two of Swords, and how you can, it's kind of looking at the bees that are around you and that bee energy, but there's got a lot of growth in the front. And so, deciding how, what needs to be planted for the bees to be able to pollinate and make the honey. And so here are some cards there. I think that's good. But definitely, definitely Rider-Waite-Smith, definitely the traditional kind of symbolism. But it's got a very different take on a lot of the cards and how they can come out and using the bees. And again, if you don't like bees, just skip over this. But I think that it does have like this card that is just that very homey, bringing that bee energy in, that working together, that community, and that growth, and that wonderful, beautiful honey that comes out of the bees. And the activity, going out and working together and making something and being proud of it. So that is bring in that kind of bee energy. And so if you like working with that, I think you'll like this deck. And if any of you, like my grandparents were beekeepers, and so I kind of grew up with this bee energy and honey, fresh honey, things like that. So it's a really good deck. And again, it's the Bee Tarot, and you can again find it. It's in mass market. You can find it anywhere around, but it's really one, I think, good one, spring energy and spring and summer energy, because it's that growth, that making something, working together, community, going out and pollinating things, and bringing that great pollen. And even though it's tough on allergy sufferers, but it's still something that you can that you can think about, and how it's a cycle. It's a cycle of growth. It's a cycle of the things that the bees are pollinating now, and using and growing, and the things that are going to be blooming. They're going to die at the end of the season. They're going to become compost and feed the next season. And so I like it, as part of that seasonal energy, because as we are in spring, we're going to move on to summer. And as we're in this moon cycle, we're going to move into a new moon cycle. So I like all of that kind of cyclical energy with the bees. This last one this is the Herbcrafter's Tarot. And this is a older deck, and it's been out for a while. This is what the back looks like. And this is I do happen to have, because it's a small deck. It's a guidebook, and this is a U.S. Games a deck. So it has a smaller guidebook, but and it's just a black and white guidebook, but it's very good because it's very in depth. And this person is a like a third generation herbal healer in her family. And so she talks about a lot of, the herbs that she and her family use in healing. And this one has it has the elements instead of the traditional wands. So the, it has like this one is air for swords. It has earth for pentacles. It has the fire for wands, and it has water for the cups. And it also renames the court cards into different names. So if you like that kind of uh, departure from the Rider-Waite-Smith system, but in the same framework, then this would be a good one for you. And if you like herbs, if you like teas, if you like cooking, if you like growing anything, if you just like looking at beautiful plants and beautiful scenery, then this is a good one for you. So the Wheel of Fortune here. Um, Here's pomegranate, and they're just beautiful pictures. So this one again is a little bit different, but very much I think spring energy, spring to summer energy, where we want to grow things. And I'm trying to see, there's one like here. This is Madre of Earth. So this is instead of a mother or queen, it's Madre here, and she has the Spanish. And she is a Spanish healer, and they have a name, and I think it's Cuanandera, and so she is a healer in that tradition, and so her tradition comes through these cards and her healing and her family and her background. But they're just gorgeous cards, and I think that it's a great deck for the springtime. So again, the Herbcrafters Tarot, and you can get that again. You can get very easily mass market, but they are all three really nice spring decks. And so the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, the Tarot, and the Herbcrafters Tarot. So those are three that I think are good, that if you want to work seasonally, and some people love to work with different decks and different seasons and for different times of the year, for different seasons of the witch's calendar. So if you do like to do that, these are three good ones that you can look into. If you just like, decks and want to explore some, then these are three that you can definitely explore and read about. Even if you don't buy them, you can, definitely read about it. It might spark an interest in something. So that's my challenge for you today, is to just look around. If you have tarot decks, look at ones that might say spring to you, and look and bring in those decks. And if you and just maybe just look at them, don't feel like that you have to do a reading, just sit down and take a deck and just look at the art. And so that that can be your challenge as well. Just to enjoy the art, just to have fun with it, and just to look at the pictures and say, oh, this is a gorgeous picture, and I love this picture. And what do I see in this artist's work? What do I see? What are the symbols to me? What do those symbols mean to me? So that's it for today. 3 spring decks, things that you can look into if you're interested in tarot decks. And then, grabbing a deck from somewhere, if it's an image on, your computer or on your phone, anywhere, just look at the imagery on that card and see what it means to you. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.